for the next video essay that him and I do individually, we're going to pick the topic that the other person is going to do their video essay on. Your next video essay is going to be about The Legend of Zelda.
Okay. The one you're going to do is Godzilla.
Okay, confession time. There are 36 Godzilla movies spanning across nearly 7 decades and 6 production teams. If you were born after 1954, chances are you've at least heard the word Godzilla. And of all the Godzilla movies that there are, these are the only ones that I've seen. I know. Terrible. Does that make me a bad Godzilla fan?
Potentially.
I'll let you decide. So, I haven't seen that many movies, but that doesn't mean I don't know a lot about them. Most of what I know from watching YouTube videos or reading Wikipedia articles. But I do know this important fact. Godzilla, in his various forms, in his many films, and facing off against his numerous enemies, is awesome. Even when he sucks, he's awesome. I mean, look at this. Okay, maybe don't look that close at that, actually. Point I'm trying to get to is an awesome kaiju series deserves an awesome kaiju video game. That's where this game comes in. Wait, hang on, don't leave. It's good, I promise. It's good for real. In March of 2010, a full 12 years after the dust settled from this masterpiece, Legendary Pictures acquired the rights to make another American-produced Godzilla film. In May of 2014, that movie, simply titled Godzilla, was released, and it was okay. It was good. It was a very non-offensive Godzilla film. Didn't take too many risks. Everybody thought these things were Mothra, but they weren't. Don't worry, she'll show up in the next one. And then in July 2015, the first real Godzilla game to release since Godzilla Unleashed Double Smash for the Nintendo DS in 2007 was released on PS4. But weirdly also PS3 to the public under the title Godzilla. It's also just called Godzilla, so try not to get confused, I guess. This game was met with incredibly negative reviews across the board. 3 out of 10, 29 out of 40. Didn't get out of bed and drag myself to GameStop to buy this game out of 100. Needless to say, this game is hated. And I only tell you this because I want you to remember that later in the video when I say Godzilla 2015 isn't just one of the best Godzilla games, it's one of my favorite games of all time. When it boils down to it, there's really only one main gameplay mode that you'll be playing, and that's called God of Destruction mode. You control Godzilla, or whoever you want. More on that later. Whichever kaiju you pick is the kaiju you play as the whole campaign. Your goal in each mission is to destroy all of the buildings on the map, do as many bonus objectives as you're given, and end the round by defeating the opposing kaiju that shows up. Do all these tasks efficiently, and your disaster level goes up. The higher this meter goes up, the more enemies the Japanese military throws at you. The more things you destroy, the more physically taller you get, and if you're playing as Godzilla and you get over 100 meters, you gain access to the actual final level, which is a one-on-one battle with Burning Godzilla. The other modes are King of Kaiju mode and Versus mode. More on Versus mode later. King of Kaiju is essentially just an arcade tower. You fight 6 kaiju in a row, no destruction bonus or secondary objectives, just monster battles. You're really only going to be playing this to unlock more components for Evolution mode. More on Evolution mode later. The controls are as complicated or as simple as any action game. Square is standard attack, triangle is heavy attack, and cross is charge attack. You have a meter for breath attacks and special moves, and you have a grab attack. Now, on to what I've been really excited to talk about. This game has 22 playable kaiju, if you're playing the PS4 version. Similar to how every Dragon Ball game has a lot of Gokus, this game has a lot of Godzillas. Hey Ethan, who do you think would win in a fight, Goku or Godzilla?
Just please leave me alone.
That's fair. You've got Godzilla from 64, 89, 95, and 2014. 2014 Godzilla taking the title of Legendary Godzilla, which is just such a simple but super awesome name. You've got your series regulars like Mothra, King Ghidorah, and Rodan, but you've also got some of the really cool and weird ones like Batra, Biollante, Hedorah the Smog Monster, Space Godzilla, Destroya, and Jet Jaguar. Yes, that's how you're supposed to pronounce his name. You can tell each character was crafted with care, too. They look incredible. Some of them actually look and move like they're guys in a Godzilla suit rather than the actual monsters, which is just sort of the icing on the cake. My personal favorite character to play as is Rodan. He's the most efficient at destroying generators because of his special attack, which comes from above and goes straight down rather than going left to right on ground level. Also, his controls are topsy-turvy. His standard attack charges forward, his charge flies, and instead of a beam, he has a shockwave. Very cool. The problem with the characters are the Godzillas, unfortunately. Each Godzilla has basically the same moveset. They each have one or two special moves that the other don't, but as they're pretty hard to unlock, the different Godzillas just sort of become different skins. Now, that's certainly a lot of characters, but if I could add any to this list, I think there's two big names missing. The first one is Godzilla, or Godzilla USA, or as he was renamed by Toho when they bought the rights so they could include him in Final Words just so they could kill him off, Zilla. Zilla, as you can probably tell, is structured more like a cross between a T-Rex and an iguana rather than standing upright like every other Godzilla. So I think his moveset could actually vary from all the other Godzillas quite a bit. He's also rather small compared to other kaiju. And second is King Kong. I know King Kong's not technically a Godzilla monster, but he's gone toe-to-toe with the big guy more than a couple times. He's even doing it again in 2021. I think King Kong could bring two things to the table as a playable character: speed and punching. So, unfortunately, versus mode doesn't mean play against your friends who's visiting your house. It means play online with other players. This game does not have couch co-op or versus, which is probably its weakest feature. And the online... let's just say no one's playing this game online anymore. I think I found one dude to play against like once, and he absolutely destroyed me because he was like level 500 and had like 300 wins. Come to think of it, I may have found the only other person who bought this game. So there's 3 superfluous game modes in this game. There's Evolution Mode, Diorama Mode, and Kaiju Guide. Evolution Mode is a menu where you can use components you've collected from God of Destruction and King of Kaiju Mode to level up each individual playable kaiju, each with their own skill tree. And it all ties back into itself. These upgrades carry over to every other game mode, even online versus. Diorama Mode is where you can pose the kaiju in various poses and battle scenarios. Pretty simple and unnecessary, but still really cool and pretty fun, honestly. And my favorite part, Kaiju Guide. What sounds like it's going to be a page of tutorials on each playable kaiju is actually a splash page of 46 different kaiju from the movies with a couple paragraphs for each one in a stats page. It's really cool to just sit and read about all the old movies and be reminded that Godzuki uses atomic bubble breath and Space Godzilla has an ability called Corona Beam. Wait a minute. Hi everybody, it's me, Thunder, live from the reception section of the Godzilla 2015 Wikipedia article. I was going to do this part with a camera, but it didn't work out. For this section, I just wanted to read this, basically, because it angers me with every sentence. Upon release in the West, Godzilla was met with a negative response with an average critic score of 38 out of 100 on Metacritic, with many reviewers criticizing an outdated presentation of the graphics and level design, with also noting awkward movement controls and repetition. Well, to that I say, how do you expect a monster to control? Do you think he's going to control easy, or do you think it's going to be a giant, huge monster? Also, why does this matter? Why has this ever mattered? I recently talked about this on a podcast. Like, obviously, there are some games that have such bad graphics that they are literally unplayable, like the first Resident Evil game. But, like, you can tell what's going on, and it looks fine. Level design, whatever. It's just a city to destroy. Who cares? Jim Sterling, review editor of Destructoid, stated it, quote, has the look and feel of a small budget game rather than a major AAA release. All right, Jim Sterling, well, no reason to be mean. With Jordan DeVore reviewing for Destructoid, calling it a letdown given the premise. What are you talking about? The premise is Godzilla and his big monster friends are gonna fight each other, and then they do. Several online personalities also noted the lack of local co-op gameplay. Okay, that's fair. I've already talked about this. There's no co-op, there's no versus. That's fair. But the most widely cited complaint being that a one-on-one fighting game should incorporate the most basic function of the genre with the online mode instead of being preferred extra feature. This is not a fighting game. It's not a fighting game. It's an action adventure. It's a map-based, mission-based action-adventure game. Nowhere on the box does it say the new Godzilla fighting game, and it wasn't advertised as a fighting game. However, some critics did note the faithful recreation of the monsters themselves and amount of content for longtime Godzilla fans, with John Ryan, reviewing for IGN, noting that while the overall gameplay had a, quote, lack of substantial gameplay, the spirit of the old school monster movies is where Bandai Namco absolutely nails it. John Ryan, reviewing for INGN, sounds like you nailed it, dude. Sounds like you figured out everything that this game has to offer, and you liked it. I don't understand this over here. I don't understand these. 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 4.5 out of 10. It's a good video game, and it feels good to play. This game is great. It's very fun and infinitely replayable. First time I picked this game up, I didn't play anything else for 3 straight weeks. It does sort of suck that there's no local multiplayer and virtually no online multiplayer, but I honestly don't think this game needs it. Gods of Destruction mode is the most fun I've ever had in a Godzilla game. In conclusion, Godzilla 2015 isn't just one of the best Godzilla games, it's one of my favorite games of all time. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give us a like and a comment if you liked the video, and share it with a friend. Until next time, I've been Thunder. You've been watching Thunder and Lightning. Stay safe, stay clean, and stay tuned for Lightning's Legend of Zelda video essay.